ever wanted to be the elephant in the room. You know, that feeling of being larger than life. Everyone's staring at you, hoping and wishing that they can touch you for whatever reason. But somehow I always was, you know, like an elephant, slowly moving and not really much of a threat. But when I approached you, my massive presence overwhelmed onlookers to the point of captivity. I had them. I had their attention, their thoughts, their dreams, and some even their fears. But I never wanted to be like that whale swimming in the ocean. You know, the one thing that stays put. And even though I was gentle and kind, a protector of sort, I still would always lay low. But whenever I came around, others always would sense my presence, you know, of when I'm drawing near. But I never ever wanted to be like that one melanistic animal, you know, the only black one in the crowd. But somehow I still would pride myself on my ability to stand out. Because although I found myself always being the darkest in the room, I made sure I was always the brightest. What does your battlefield look like? And how do you wear your armor? My name is Valerie Yvette Peterson. I am a poet, a playwright, an author, motivational speaker, inspirational storyteller, and a mental health advocate. And you know, many, many years ago, I remember spending countless hours and hundreds of dollars at the MAC makeup counter and fashion fair, because it was always important to me that I find the perfect shade of foundation. But it wasn't to conceal my blemishes. It was to hide my bruises. I am a domestic violence survivor. And even on those battlefields, I still wrote and published my first chapbook at the age of 19. And even though I was back and forth from college to college for quite some time, I earned my degree finally at the age of 27. And how many of you may have been like me, where you have to work twice as hard and prove yourself more and more with people less qualified than you on your jobs? Well, that was me. And even as such, I wrote my second chapbook at 31 and my first full-length memoir at 51. And even though I found marriage and divorce on my battlefield, I still have 3 beautiful daughters, 31, 20, and 17. And even though I went through all of these fights, do you realize God still protected me? There were times he had to reach down and grab me out, but he did so. And he placed me safely in his bunker. And he told me, he said, Valerie, you keep this pen in your hand and you keep writing. Poetry and spoken word saved my life. And although God is not the author of confusion, sometimes he'll place a few shifts in your life so that he can solve it right up in the enemy's face, and it gives you clarity, and then we can give him the glory. You know, the late, great, legendary gospel artist Walter Hawkins, he said it best. He said, don't wait till the battle is over. Shout now, because you know in the end, you're going to win. You know, a lot of times we may not always realize it, but we are becoming leaders early in our lives based on our experiences and the things that are being poured into us. But to be an effective leader means you have the ability to create your own army, your own team of people that will be willing to fight side by side with you on your battlefield. I was a little girl in church growing up, and if you're anything like me growing up in the 70s, you know there wasn't no dancing in the Baptist church. So this one song during Vacation Bible School was so fun and exciting to me because the words were so fun. And we got to do this. We are soldiers in the army. We have to fight Although sometimes we cry, we have to hold up the bloodstained banner. We get to hold it up until we die. And the song goes on and on and on as kids. But when we get older and we start to go through some things in our lives, those words of the song take on a whole new meaning, don't they? The words aren't so pretty and cute as they used to be. And our little legs marching as soldiers as we're kids, now that we are adults and soldiers and leaders, sometimes our march has to change pace and speed from time to time. And now that you are a soldier as a leader, you might even have to change direction on your battlefield. But whatever your battlefield looks like, whatever wars you encounter on your life, never loosen your armor. And my armor is my organization, Project Cocoa, creating opportunities, creating outcomes through action. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization that teaches poetry writing, spoken word recitation, and public speaking to men and women everywhere as you continue to navigate effective leadership in all of the spaces that you take up. Because poetry writing is more than just pretty words on a piece of paper. It's more than just rhythmic flow. Writing poetry brings power to your voice. And writing poetry can provide a map of how to live with the courage to command respect over your life. Writing poetry oftentimes brings that peace. Because being a leader and a soldier sometimes means you have to go to war. We can't skip those hard days. Continue to show up. Continue the path of effective leadership, and you will find that in your fight, you will reach your victory one day. Again, my name is Valerie Yvette Peterson. You can find me on all social media platforms of the same name, and you can find my poetry spoken word on all streaming networks. Again, whatever your battlefield looks like, whatever your fight looks like, whatever your war looks like, whatever your combat looks like, however long you have to stay in the trenches, never loosen your armor. Thank you. Thank you. I forgot a lot of it. So, and I think the reason is because I was looking at that clock. I had timed myself several times, and so that threw me off. I realized I had to make a quick adjustment to some, so I purposely changed some stuff, but it did throw me off.